creating our first Amazon RDS database. So we add a quick marker. Cool, yeah, so Amazon RDS, Relational Database Service, will make it easy to set up, operate, and scale a database in the cloud, a relational database specifically. Before launching an actual RDS instance, we need to configure a database subnet group. Subnets are segments of a VPC's IP address range that allow you to group resources. Subnet group is a collection of subnets, typically private, that we'll create in the VPC, and we'll designate it for the database instances. Each subnet group will have subnets within at least 2 availability zones within a given region. Note that the SQL Server mirroring with a SQL Server database instance requires at least 3 subnets in a availability zone. When we create a DB instance in a VPC, we have to select a database subnet group. RDS uses the database subnet group in your preferred availability zone to select the subnet and the IP address within that subnet to associate your database instance. When it creates the instance in a VPC, it assigns you a network interface to the database instance by using an IP address selected from the subnet group.
You can change your TTS voice here. Web link.
If the primary database instance of a multi-AZ deployment fails, then RDS will promote the corresponding standby and subsequently create a new standby using an IP address from the subnet in one of the other availability zones. So we need to go to, have we got it here? No, so RDS. And then we want to go to subnet groups. Okay. I'm going to create a new one. And then the lab makes me do this, so we need to call it that. Give it that description. Pick any ID. Right, AZs. So we need to. Which ones do we need? You may have to select. Select all the AZs that are available. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4. And then subnets and subnets, so all the subnets. Tick, tick. Cool, and then we can create that. It'll take a few seconds for the AZs to appear. If not, just manually select the correct VPC. After a few seconds, the database subnet group will be available, so it's already done. So see, did I do it right? I did. Cool. Step. So now we're going to create security group rules for connecting to the instance. So we'll use an EC2 instance to run queries against the database in the upcoming lab in order to allow incoming traffic from the EC2 to the RDS instance. We have to configure an appropriate security group rule. The rule of the security group will control the inbound traffic that's associated with the group and what's allowed to leave. By default, the group will allow all outbound and deny inbound. So we need to go to VPC. The VPC actual thing. Right, and then security groups in the list there. Create a new group. This will be called Launch Wizard. So again, inbound rule we're going to add. So we want a type of MySQL, Aurora. Alright, we need this custom range, so let's just put that in. Okay. And then that's it, so we can create that. So that will allow inbound on 3306, and then outbound was already allowing it all, so nothing to change there. Let's see if I did it right. Yeah, sweet. Right, cool, now we can create the database. So, database is easy to set up and scale, designed for developers or businesses that require full capabilities of a relational database. We don't need that, so our RDS. Right, create a database. We're going to create standard class. We're going to do MySQL. What else do we want? Right, leave the defaults, select the free tier, right, identifies this, master username, password. That's all we need, and then instance config, burstable, which is already selected, T2 micro, so we can drop that down. Cool. Right, storage, we need to check this has 20 gig, which it does. No, we want enable auto scaling, we need to turn this off. Because we're trying to do this on the cheap. Alright, so for prod workload, we can also use the IOPS storage type to get a consistent throughput. We don't need that for this. And then connectivity, what do we do here? We want pick the security group that we had. VPC is already selected, subnet group selected. And here we go. Right, so we want that one that we made. Take default off. Availability zone, no preference. Oh yeah, make sure to delete the default, we've already done that. Monitoring, leave that off because we're again doing this cheap. Additional config, we want to add in a default database name. We want backups off Again, doing this on the cheap. And then finally we want delete the protection, which is already off. Cool, right, create database. I don't need to change my password. Go away. Right, so we've got the database, don't need that. It's still creating, so we'll let it build. Instance creation requires up to 10 minutes to complete. Wait until its status becomes available. If we encounter a suggested add-on pop-up, you can close it. Which I did. Right, okay, so this might take a little while. Yeah, I'm not sure why I didn't do this on stream. No, apparently the check passed. Make sure that you've created the DB instance, check if it created. So again, you must only be checking the name of the identifier rather than the status, but yeah, so that's it's still definitely creating, so we can't use it yet. Let's see if we can do the next bit while we're waiting. So next one, starting an AWS Systems Manager session, manager browser shell. Navigate to the System Manager. Get started. Should have session manager, there we go. So start a session, and select the dev instance, and it should just create a thing. Let's do, need to give this a name. Doesn't look like it. So we create the session, open a browser shell, but it doesn't get us to run anything, so that must be next steps. Let's do that. Yeah, there we go. So we connect to the RDS and create a database table. Use the instance. Alright, so we're going to run new, so sudo iu pc to user, and then to install MySQL client. So this will give us access to the MySQL command line. Right, you're now ready to connect to the instance using the endpoint URL that's automatically generated during the RDS instance. You can find it in the database connectivity secure box. So for that you'd have to go back to here. Right, we've got it available now, so this is good. So let's have a look what we got. Right, so we do MySQL H iEndpoint, and then user cloud. Oh yeah, you need to. Right, so now we get a prompt, so we have to put in the super secret password. Now we've got SQL client. Need to create the table, so we're going to drop this SQL command, create table, laboratory with 2 columns, int and name. And we can verify that it was created. There we go. Close your database connection. Okay, so that was all we have to do. Just create the tables. That's that. Right, back into RDS. And then this time we want to go to actions and delete, apparently. Uncheck create final snapshot. Again, doing this on the cheap. And we need to actually delete it, so delete me. I acknowledge that you'll get rid of it, yeah. So this is going to delete the lab. And then once that's done, I should be able to check that we actually destroyed it. This lab's fairly short then. You just create a dummy table and then just nuke it from orbit. So it's going to kick me out of here as well. Let's terminate that. Come on. You'd think they'd want to get rid of these quicker, wouldn't you? Delete. See the logs in there? Just that it got killed. Can't believe this takes so long. There's no data in it. It's just an empty table with 2 columns. It can't be that hard just to stop the EC2 that's running behind the scenes and kill it. It took longer. Yeah, it literally is taking longer to delete it than it did to create it. See if my check passes. Now we've got to keep waiting. Oh, there we go, it's gone. Let's recheck it. There we go, that's what we wanted. Right, I think that's it. Let's submit.